Hello and welcome, our blood viewers, to our today's news English edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top highlights of tonight. Let's follow. The executive president of the Saudi Fund for Development on a working visit to Djibouti. And on the international scene, the American presidential, Donald Trump scores a historic victory and a comeback. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Ghadir Kamil Mohammed, received this morning at his office in the ministerial complex the CEO of the Saudi Fund for Development, Mr. Sultan bin Abdurrahman Al Murshid, who arrived in Djibouti as part of a working visit. During the meeting, the two parties discussed bilateral relations of the distinguished cooperation between the two brotherly countries and ways and means of enhancing them to border horizons. The meeting focused on advancing the strategic partnership with the special focus on the development projects supported by the Saudi Fund. During the meeting, the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Ghadir Kamil Mohammed, presented the CEO of the Saudi Fund for Development, Mr. Sultan Abdurrahman Al Murshid, with the Order of June 27th with the rank of a commander. This honor comes in recognition of the Saudi Fund's continuous efforts in supporting the various projects supported by the Saudi Fund and in its efforts in strengthening the relationship between the two parties. The declaration also demonstrates the government's appreciation for the lasting partnership between Djibouti and the Saudi Fund, which contributes to the overall progress of the country. In a related context, the Minister of Economy and Finance, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawale, today held an important meeting with a high-level delegation from the Saudi Development Fund. Following the meeting, the Memorandum of Understanding was signed regarding the construction and rehabilitation of dialysis centers at the Republic of Djibouti. The project relates in particular to the rehabilitation of the Sultan bin Abdul Aziz dialysis center at the Biltiye General Hospital, as well as the construction of a new dialysis center at the Belbela Hospital. This initiative aims to improve access to care for patients suffering from kidney diseases and demonstrates the commitment of both countries to strengthen the health sector. The partnership reflects the shared desire of Djibouti and the Saudi Development Fund to collaborate to respond to urgent health needs and improve the quality of medical infrastructure, thereby contributing to the well-being of Djiboutian citizens. The Saudi delegation, accompanied by the Minister of Health and his team, as well as Djibouti's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, visited the dialysis center at Pilti General Hospital. During the visit, the delegation was able to see the current needs and conditions of the kidney care infrastructure. The delegation then went to Duda to inspect a 20-hectare plot of land embarked to accommodate the future Peltier Hospital, an ambitious project funded by the Saudi Development Fund. This new hospital aims to enhance the provision of healthcare in Djibouti and demonstrates the Saudi Development Fund's commitment to developing the country's health infrastructure. These visits illustrate the close cooperation between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia, who are committed to improving health services for Djiboutian citizens through concrete and sustainable projects. A delegation from the National Water and Sanitation Authority, ONYAD, led by the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Livestock and Fisheries, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, toured the Water Waste Treatment Center in Duda village to see the progress of the second treatment plant. The delegation consisted of the General Director of the National Water and Sewage Authority and the senior official of the public company. The new water treatment plant will be inaugurated in January next year, 2025. The construction of the second wastewater treatment plant is part of the BRAD project, supported by the European Union and the French Development Agency, which aims to support the National Office of Water and Sanitation of Djibouti in collecting and treating wastewater from Djibouti City. This project will increase the sewage network in 5 neighborhoods in the capital city of Djibouti. It will also allow 40,000 people to benefit from direct access to collective sanitation. The second project, mobilizing 14 million euros of support, consists of the construction of a new wastewater treatment plant in Duda next to the existing one, allowing the two plants to cover the needs of about 80,000 inhabitants. The new plant will contribute to improving the quality of life of the Djiboutian population, said the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fisheries, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, on the occasion. The minister also emphasized and expressed his happiness that the work was completed as soon as possible. This new plant will treat 40,000 cubic meters of wastewater, thus doubling the capacity of the Duda wastewater treatment plant. The treated water will be used for agriculture. The goal of this project is to provide better sanitary conditions for the population and minimize the risks associated with poorly discharged water. The government of Djibouti has made water and sanitation one of the priorities on its agenda, concluded the minister. On the sidelines of his participation in the 7th International Solar Alliance Assembly, the Minister of Energy in charge of Natural Resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, participated yesterday in the 3rd edition of the High-Level Conference on New Technologies for the Clean Energy Transition in New Delhi, India. The conference, organized by the International Solar Alliance in collaboration with the Government of India, brought together ministerial delegation from ISA member countries as well as policymakers, experts, and leaders of major industrial groups. Discussions at the conference focused on ways to successfully deploy solar technologies in the new era, explore emerging storage solutions, and highlight the critical role of solar energy as a lever to accelerate economic development and equitable social and environmental progress. Minister Yunus Ali Gedi began his speech at the event by emphasizing the abundance of sunshine in our country and showcasing the various solar energy projects that are currently being implemented. He also stressed the importance of fruitful cooperation between IEA member states with the aim of successfully deploying solar energy around the world, in our country and in particular, and reiterated Djibouti's request to benefit from all the progress and initiatives provided by the IEA. As part of the celebration of the National and African Youth Day Week, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, in collaboration with the National Union of Djiboutian Women, launched on Monday a culinary and beauty training program for young women from community development centers in the capital. The launch was organized at the Women's Recreation and Training Sports Complex and is part of an initiative aimed at supporting the professional integration of girls and enhancing their practical skills in areas of great economic importance such as culinary arts and cosmetology. Through these training courses delivered by experts in the aforementioned fields, participants will be able to acquire directly applicable practical skills, facilitating their integration into the labor market and contributing to their economic independence. This program is in line with the policy of supporting local talent and reflects the commitment of the Ministry of Youth and Cultural partner institutions to promote youth empowerment and active participation in the national development process. The National and African Youth Week, which took place between the 27th of October till the 3rd of November, included a series of diverse activities aimed at enhancing the skills of youth to improve their socio-economic integration. The culinary and cosmetology training program is one of the real-life examples actually of these activities, with many young people benefiting from it in its first cycle. A culinary and beauty training programs for young women is a unique initiative that aims to enable young women to acquire the necessary skills that will open up new job opportunities and improve their quality of life. This type of program contributes to the economic empowerment of young women and enhances their financial independence by teaching them practical skills that they can apply in virtual and in-demand areas of the market. At the end of the event, a partnership was signed between the Ministry of Youth and Culture, represented by the Director of Social Inclusion, Mrs. Ruqayya Hassan Sheikh, and the Director of the Complex, Mrs. Fatima Jama'. A family group photo was then taken to immortalize this moment. And of course, in her comments, the General Secretary of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, Mrs. Fatima Musa Abdi, expressed her happiness at the launch of this promising training program that opens new opportunities for the social and professional inclusion of girls. She expressed her confidence in the success of this course. And of course, for her part, the Minister of the Youth and Culture said that the second consecutive year in a cooperation with the National Union of Djiboutian Women in a complex dedicated to promoting the empowerment of Djiboutian women in the social, economic, cultural, and sporting dimensions. Following the passage of Hurricane Oscar, a new cyclone is threatening Cuba, particularly the west and Havana. The civil defense announced heavy rain and strong winds. On 5th of November, the country was placed on alert, which would change according to the intensity of the cyclone, given the depleted state of the electricity network. Power cuts could last from a few hours to several weeks depending on the damage. The Embassy of Djibouti remains in contact with the authorities to ensure the safety of the Djiboutian community made up of diplomats and students. The university residence where the students live most meet safety standards. The Cuban authorities are taking strict measures to minimize the risks. The cyclone, which formed off the coast of Jamaica, is expected to affect the country within Friday. The embassy recommends calm and patience. Parliamentarian Kamil Humad, accompanied by members of Social Development and Environmental Protection Committee, visited the headquarters of the National Union of Djiboutian Women on Wednesday. The parliamentary delegation was welcomed by Mrs. Fatima Moussa, General Secretary of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, and senior officials of the parliamentary institution. This meeting is part of the work of the parliament and the aforementioned committee, which aims to strengthen dialogue and cooperation within civil society organizations working for social development and the protection of the rights of women and youth. During the visit, the General Secretary of the National Union of Djiboutian Women presented the main areas of work of the union in line with the priorities of the institution. She particularly highlighted the education of girls and women, the economic empowerment of women, as well as the training of young women in digital professions. At the end of the visit, committee members welcomed the union's initiatives in favor of women and youth, highlighting the organization's commitment to promoting the rights, opportunities, and overall social status of these groups. With the support of the European Union delegation, the National Human Rights Commission organized a two-day workshop at the Hotel Acacia on its quasi-judicial remit. The opening ceremony began with speeches by the President of the National Human Rights Commission, the General Secretary of the Ministry of Justice and Penitentiary Affairs, responsible for human rights, and the public prosecutor. The workshop was attended by judges and prosecutors, judicial police officers from the National Police and Gendarmerie, prison guards, representatives of sectorial ministers, and the National Union of Djiboutian Women, UNFD. The aim of this workshop is to improve the protection of people's rights from human rights perspective, in particular by focusing on access to justice and compliance with the time limit for pre-trial detention. Through this workshop, the National Commission for Human Rights emphasized to the various participants the importance of the investigations it conducts, its competence to deal with requests from individuals to assert their rights, and its power of self-referral conferred by law. The discussions workshop paved the way for greater coordination, enabling the National Human Rights Commission to work more closely with the judiciary. The workshop produced recommendations for strengthening coordination between the National Human Rights Commission and the judicial authorities, with particular emphasis on the importance of facilitating access to justice for all and guaranteeing fair treatment for people and pre-trial detention. Shifting towards the regional now, where the Ali Sabih Regional Council hosted a literacy conference presented by young Djiboutian writer Roble Hassan Umar. The event was organized by Readers and Writers Association of Ali Sabih in the presence of the regional governor, Mr. Abdul Malik Muhammad Benoita, the head of the regional council, Sharmanke Hassan Alale, and a number of local elected officials, teachers, students of the University of Djibouti, and as well as a number of personalities interested in books. The association, founded by teachers and headed by the school teacher Hussein Umar Abdi, aims to promote reading and writing among its members, most of whom are middle and high school students. The meeting, which was dedicated to presenting the author's first novel, Sunset and the Nomads, began with the reading of a verse from the Holy Quran, the first verse revealed to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which emphasizes the importance of reading for human beings. The author then answered questions about his life as a young writer, especially about the story of his novel. He works as a teacher at Obokh's first school. Within the framework of the third monitoring and evaluation mission of the project Civil Society Participation in Governance of Local Development in Djibouti, a field visit was organized to the Arta region. This initiative aims to promote the participation of local associations in the local development of local communities in Djibouti. This initiative is part of a civil society participation in governments and local development in Djibouti project implemented by the National Association of Local Assemblies with the funding from the European Union. A handover ceremony was held in several key players in local development. The Arta Regional Council hosted the third monitoring and evaluation mission session for the major project in the region. This visit allowed the mission members to follow up on the progress of the project activities and the progress made since the start of its implementation. The discussions gathered valuable information on the challenge and successes that the association faced as part of its answering awareness raising and local development work. Now, the launch of a cataract removal ceremony was held by the Chinese GX Foundation in collaboration with the Djibouti Ministry of Health. The convoy is a humanitarian initiative organized by the GX Foundation, governmental organization. 500 surgeries in Djibouti, this initiative is still going, directly benefiting the local population. The official launch of the convoy's activities took place in the presence of dignitaries from the region, such as Governor Mohammed Hamad Abbas and the chairman of the regional council, Mr. Umar Hussein Umar. The chief medical officer from Tajarra was also present at the event, emphasizing the importance of this event for local public health, which is a large-scale initiative. In the fact that cataracts are a leading cause of curable blindness worldwide. In rural areas, access to surgical care is often limited. The caravan not only restores sight, but also improves patients' quality of life, allowing them to return to their daily activities and contribute fully to their families and communities. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, a resounding electoral victory on 5th of November 2024. Donald Trump won the US presidential election, dashing the hopes of Kamala Harris' election and ensuring his triumphant return to the White House. After a night of unbearable suspense, the former president's victory was covered on 6th of November with 277 electoral votes to 224 for his rival, Kamala Harris. Trump thus passed the threshold of 270 electors required to win, a victory that resounds like a strong message, not only for America but for the whole world. Although the outcome of the election was uncertain for a long time, due in particular to the close results in several key states, the initial projections quickly confirmed the trend. Trump dominated crucial states such as North Carolina, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, which he won back from the Democrats. The RTD for the first time sent our journalist Muhammad Gas to cover the presidential elections, where he is in place there to cover and gather the reactions of the people. Let's listen to.
What I was saying is we need Mr. Trump here, and all of us are ready for this change. And that's what he was supposed to be. And this is the comeback. And we're going to be strong again. Okay? Thank you very much.
Poor Trump, because he's done a lot for our country, a lot proven. He has a track record. The expectations for the women in this country is the most important one. We don't want our kids to go to war. All mothers are in fear. We want our kids safe. We want our families safe. We do not want another war.
By this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening and take care.